there's an axiom: the most valuable asset of organizations is their people. And I think what we do in the HR track and in the HR field is make the best use of those people through learning how to hire the best person, recruit the best people, develop them and retain them. And I think it really brings together kind of a multidisciplinary approach where we're learning from psychology, we're learning from economics on kind of how to best utilize human capital to help firms be competitive. There are several, that are kind of specific to HR. We have some on employee selection, so a whole course that takes you through how you might, recruit the best employee and how you might kind of root out. You have so many to choose from. How do you differentiate who's going to be best for this job versus that job? Well, there's a whole science behind that that you can learn about in a specific class. We have a class on compensation and total rewards. How do you pay people so that they'll be more motivated than others? Do you pay them by having special benefits, family-oriented benefits? Well, or do you have, so there's all sorts of different ways in which that each of these different things can kind of pull unique psychological levers and help make the best use of your human capital. Another one would be leadership and negotiations. Learning how to negotiate better with people and how to kind of get the most, which is something you can do in every area of your life. Career-related outcomes are pretty broad, but in general, you're going to learn skills that managers use. So often people go into management tracks, but you can also be more specific and go into HR-related fields. You can go into compensation and benefits. You can go into talent development. Another track that a lot of people do straight from the HR track is go into our Masters of HR, which is one of the flagship programs here at Mays. It's a top 10 program in the world, and so there are several people who learn that they love HR, they want to do it for their careers, and they kind of go straight into that master's program. So that's another option as well. The best students in my classes are those that are curious and they take initiative. And I've seen some people go to into consulting at EY. I had one student who he wanted to sell airplanes, and so we talked about mentoring as a part of my HR class. I talk about how to find a mentor, how to be a mentor, and he came into me after class and said, I want to sell small airplanes, and there's only a few kind of companies that do it, and so I talked about networking and how he could find a mentor in one of these companies. He ended up making a connection and getting a job placed there. But so obviously there's not really one track. There's a lot of different things that HR can do for students. So we have several board companies. There's the Center for Human Resource Management here, where we have I think 30 or so board companies that we work with directly, and they recruit our students regularly. And several of them, I hate to say one and not another, but they're well represented in oil and gas and technology and the services, and then of course we have professional consulting companies that a lot of people end up getting hired with. So yeah, I don't want to play favorites, but we have many opportunities, and I'm sure many others have talked about the specific companies.